Hey, we on now? Well, well, Terrence gives us a little music to let us know what's going on, but we miss our producer today. Welcome to Girl Talk. I'm your host, Miss E, and I'm joined with my co-host, The Outrage.
How you doing, Kansas
And
City?
you said again, didn't hear you.
How you doing, Kansas City?
And we're waiting on our other co-host Diva, and she is not, if she's available. But today we have an exciting show. It's always exciting when I have Mr. Outrage on here. And I've seen before we started that you was even on Facebook, starting some stuff up, getting some stuff out of there. What were you talking about?
Basically, I was talking about the shooting, the murder that happened yesterday on 63rd and Meyer Boulevard, right on the side of Research Hospital, where the woman got killed in her car. They stole her dog, and they found the suspect in the dog on 68th and Olive.
So was she just visiting the hospital? Because they made it seem like she was walking or something, but she was just visiting the hospital.
I think she may have been visiting the hospital.
Wow, that's I mean that is enough to be outraged. I mean, we're not really getting a lot of media coverage on all these murders that's going on. On my way over here, I seen the police were at 33rd in College, but it looked like it might have been a disturbance or some sort over there. One on the porch and one inside, but they were very, very looked like they were very polite. The police over there, but it was I hate to say that, but it was a white couple. It wasn't a black couple. It was a white couple over there, and they seem to get treated a little bit differently when the police come knocking on their doors. And then today I seen where Sheila Johnson was showing what was happening on 24th and Vine,
With the feds.
but they don't know if that was the feds or if that was just bounty hunters.
Yeah, or it could have been just plain undercover.
But I mean, it's getting so scary now. You don't know what they coming in because they had regular utility trucks. I'm talking about SUV vans and regular work trucks with the crates on them. The crates on the back, like they really doing some work. And so you really don't know what's coming. I know what it did. I seen a couple people have been pulled over for illegal tags and have been taken to jail for that. Did you know that? That is happening? That for illegal tax, they're taking them to jail, depending on who you are, and they holding you for 24 hours under a 24-hour investigation for illegal tax.
What do you mean illegal tags?
Expired tags.
Oh, okay.
And I've been riding around 2 months with mine being expired, but I've had my tags in my car. I just didn't have the time to put them on, or couldn't find a screwdriver, something to put them on in 2 months. But when I started seeing them taking them to jail, I'm like, shoot, and I'm always what they call in the dirty 30s. So I've just changed my tags in your parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have 24 hours to give up to sit under no investigation. But that's ridiculous because they used to didn't take you to jail, for any of these things. But these are the people that are, and these are not being arrested by the regular KCPD. These are the ones that's coming in town that's arresting these folks.
So you get a 24-hour investigation hold for improper tags.
Expired tags.
For expired tags. And I'm like,
well, I don't know if everybody has, but I've read a few status where people have been in jail for 24-hour holds for expired tags. It is. I'm sorry, but it is. I am burning up in here. I'm hot. And it doesn't help that it's hot outside. It's hot in the community. When we talk about girl, this station, not this station, but this show is dedicated to girl, giving yourself real love. One of our programs that we sponsor is a domestic violence program. But that's not all we do. We have our youth programs that are free. We're also the host of the Eddie Griffin. The Eddie Griffin Way arts that it comes to girls. So if children want to get involved, it's free through our programs that we offer. Or if they offer a program, it's free to come on board with it and get it sponsored. One of the issues that I have and we have had is that all the murders that's taken place with the women in Kansas City, all the violence against the women in Kansas City, nobody's talking about it. Even the lady that lost her life over a dog being stolen, nobody even mentioned her name. Nobody. I mean, it's like these women are getting popped, dropped, and that's it. Nothing has been made of it. Nothing's been said of it. The 20-year-old that was killed over in Clover Leaf, nothing's been said of it. Nothing's been done.
And I'm like, I'm like, I know the police was telling people we got 6 murders on Saturday or whatever. I sat there Monday morning, and I'm looking at all my texts and whatever. Here comes another murder that wasn't identified. We got a murder sitting right there at Blue Valley Apartments, right there in Hilltop. Someone was murdered. Some 20-year-old was murdered down there in Hilltop.
Well, they found a body in a car in Raytown. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. But when you start murdering people in the middle of the day, 33rd and Askew, when you start Bales, was it Bales or Askew? One of them that had, because there's a lot of action going on. I think it was Bales that one night, and it was Askew the next time.
Police found that decomposed body sitting right there at 58th and Prospect.
Okay, let's talk about that. Where was it found at?
Found in the woods back there on 58th and Prospect.
There's no woods on 58th and Prospect that should be labeled woods. Those are residential houses that sit over there. So when they talk about woods, are we talking about unkept yards that the city owns the land?
Basically overgrown trees. Basically.
And now we consider that woods. Oh, shoot. Because on 58th and Prospect, there's no woods. It's land that's been allowed to be not cut and maintained, that we call woods, sitting right next to the houses in the woods.
Mm-hmm. Well, these were right there.
Now, where was it at? Where the house was that was burned, right next to the clubhouse? Because you don't have nothing but a vacant lot, a house that was burned.
Well, I think the street doesn't go all the way through.
Okay.
And back there is that overgrown.
That's 58th Street. That's not Prospect. Yeah. That's not Prospect. Yeah, that's back when they go. Okay, no, it's on the corner. It's one corner. It's a corner of 58 starts at one end and ends at the other end. But he's talking about at the beginning of 58 coming out of 57th.
Yeah.
In the back where you take to alleyway.
Yeah.
Okay. But that shouldn't be considered woods.
Well, it's overgrown trees, basically. The trees that need to be cut.
Okay, so how did a person find that body? What were they doing there?
I don't know. It could have been the smell. If the body's decomposing, you can easily.
If it's decomposed, it don't have no smell no more.
Sometimes, depending on this heat, I don't know. Something brought them back there that they called the police for.
Could have been the killer. Because we know that they don't do no investigation. Because I just seen the other day, I was following Councilman Ellington and the No More Excuses Coalition when they was walking up and found those bullet shells casting.
The shell cases. Yeah.
How many did they find?
I don't know, was it 4 or 5 shell cases? I'm like.
So what does that mean when you find shell cases when the police are supposed to have been done an investigation?
Well, I thought they were supposed to collect all of them. I'm like, you would be able to find them, but obviously you didn't find all of them. I'm like, I thought at least you take a metal detector with you and go through. I'm like, a metal detector could pick up shell cases.
But what I did see today when I was coming down Prospect, I seen 2 female officers. I don't know if they were detectives or what, they were going door to door. That's the first time I've seen that in a long time, with somebody actually going door to door You know, I don't know how many doors they went because it's like only 3 or 4 houses on Prospect
Well,
on
since
58.
you talk about door to door, remember the other day, I think it was Saturday, we were down at the office and the little girl came up missing and they started going door to door, knocking to find out who this 2-3-year-old child belongs to.
Okay, Thurman, you said they went door to door, but when they came on our block, they were driving. They didn't go knock on no doors. But you seen them knock on doors?
They were between Benton and College. They were
Okay, they was knocking on doors. But you know, I find that really hard to believe that a 2-year-old can get outside and just disappear, and the parents don't file no missing person report. You know, for the child missing, no Amber Alert is constructed, and nobody is alarmed. I mean, something's wrong with that picture. I mean, don't that sound kind of crazy to you?
Yeah. I'm like, somebody find your child. They've been gone for over 2 hours, and you don't call the police in. They had to go find you.
Oh shoot! I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, it's like everybody went to sleep, and our world changed, and our behavior changed. Our morals dropped. Nothing. We don't care. We have I don't care attitude now. You know, I don't care about nothing. I don't want to care about nothing. You know, one of the things that's just really disturbing, just to kind of jump off of this for a second, is because I've been getting a lot of calls, not on this particular case, but on the children returning to school. Just a hypothetical thing. It's not so much dangerous for the children returning to school. It's what the children are going to bring back home. That's where the danger is going to come back in, because we know children are resilient in a lot of areas. But what they're going to bring back home is the catchy part. You know, I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, yep. Because I'm like, you got a contagious virus out here. You're telling them, you're telling the kids that the kids may not come in there wearing masks. 2, you tell them to go back into a place that may be a hotbed for the virus, because I'm like, you have no sanitation in some of these schools.
Oh no, because I've been in a lot of schools. They don't even have toilet paper. You know, so if they don't have toilet paper, wash your hands ain't gonna make a difference. But I'm just saying, you know, I have a lot of conspiracy theories about this so-called virus, and I believe that the government is putting something else out there to make it even more dangerous for those that want to, I don't want to say biting into it, but are affected by whatever it is that they're putting out there, because they're warning us ahead of time. You know, they're warning us that, hey, and I read an article that said they're going to force in vaccinations, that they're going to leave it up to the governors of the states to call in whether they will be able to vaccinate the people or jail them for not getting vaccinations. I mean, it sounds far-fetched, but you got people going to jail now for not wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so it's not, so we're giving up a lot of our rights, you know, and people not paying attention to it, like getting back to the women that have been murdered. I've seen several different organizations say, we're going to Black Lives Matter. It's a joke. Black Lives Matter, we're going to fight the police. Oh, talking about fighting the police. This is not very, I know a lot of people going to church is not going to like this, or people that, you know, believe in the ministers, having our concerns in the community, is not going to like this. A month ago, we had 50 ministers that did called in for a news, not a new flash, but a
Press conference.
Press conference. Thank you. I couldn't even think of it. Called in for a press conference, right? They said that we demand these demands that Police Chief Rick Smith be either resign or be fired. We demand that the relationships between the community and the police brutality immediately stop. We demand this, we demand that, and we're going to make sure our community understands where we stand on this, and we're not going to stop until we get this done. The clergy, the NAACP, and the one or two people that belongs to the Urban League, you know, they all got together. All of them got together and said, you know, we're going to fight this police brutality. Yesterday, a press conference came up with the same 50 ministers. And what did they say? Well, we talked to the police chief, Rick Smith. We behind him. We talked to the different majors and all of those people in the patrol. We're going to work with them. We're going to make sure that our numbers are coming down in the homicide and all of that. Did I miss something? The negotiation or something? Now they're not trying to call in for the resignation of Chief Smith. Did I miss something?
They must have had one of them backdoor meetings that they always have around here, where the cameras are not around and everything. And we doing a kumbaya hour and everything. We all.
I thought maybe I blinked and missed something, because I'm seeing the same preachers that was up there saying what we demand and how we stand for the community. All of a sudden, they became full-fledged members of the KCPD police fan club. Mm-hmm. So what is happening? I do know that most of these members of the clergy belong to Freedom Inc. So I can see the flip-flopping. I can see the backdoor meetings. I can see the sellout of the community. But what does it say for our belief in those that do believe that the ministers speak for them, not for the people that's in the community, but the flock of the congregation of their church? What does it say when they flip-flop like that?
Well,
or do you consider a flip-flop? I consider it a sellout. But
I'm like, if you listen to them and listen to them for a while, these pastors, I'm like, between One Square to SCLC and the rest of them, you follow their trail of what they've been doing in this community. I'm like, if they say they speak for the community, they don't speak for everybody. I mean, nobody's really listening to them. No one pay attention to them. I'm like, some of these pastors, they can't even get anybody in their churches, even before the virus. And I'm like, you got a mess going on. I'm like, you got some pastors basically on the take. I'm like, if they really
not on the take.
If they really want to talk, these people really want to talk, I'm like, let's ask this question. You got a meeting on the 17th of this month for the Democratic committee people. They're having a meeting out there in Independence at the courthouse. If they really want to worry about the people, I'm like, I remember they had a backdoor meeting, that nobody was invited to, when the head of the Democratic Party basically called this black woman out of her name, and basically because the head of the Democratic Party went down there to Freedom's headquarters and apologized. Freedom members accepted it, and that is why he's still the head of the Democratic Party.
You know, so the Democrats have no respect for us locally. I know that. So if they have no respect for us locally, I know they don't have it nationally. But my concern is, we had these ministers stand up, and all you got to do is Google the ministers that requested Chief Smith to be fired. You're going to see about 15 or 20 articles pop up, and you're going to see the same ministers: Cleaver, Edwards, what's the other one out there? Concord. Lindsay. You're going to see the same ones standing in line, the same ones that played. I don't know about Edwards, because I'm really surprised at Edwards, because up until lately, I didn't hear much about him being not worthy, but not where you didn't take his word to be, something different. Mm-hmm. Just lately, I've seen him. And by him being out there, then people was able to judge his actions out there. Now you wonder what is going on. Then we know Lindsay plays the political field. We know that because he's shown us that he's done that, when the flip-flop between when he wasn't going to vote for his own member, Quentin Lucas, and then he quickly jumped on that Quentin Lucas band. Then he quickly got in bed with them down on 31st Street, which we haven't heard anything else about that was going on. You know, just a lot of major things. I don't believe that politicians should be in the business of being ministers or anybody that's affiliated with a religious sector. I just don't believe that the ministers that we have is strong enough to play that political game like we had King and all of them did prior. I don't think that the people we have here stand up enough because one, you have to negotiate, you have to lie, you have to bend. And I don't see a person that's supposed to be pushing out the truth, lying and bending for the sake of something materialistic. So I don't believe that ministers should. I think they should stay in church. We got enough issues now coming outside. They should come outside those four walls and work with the people and let the people know that they're here instead of getting on TV and everybody smiling and kumbayaing, as you said, and making a mockery out of their religion, making a mockery out of God, and making a mockery out of the seriousness that's going on in our community. We have enough people that's actually have their boots on the ground, that's actually going into these areas that we have our crime because we live in those areas. And they get no recognition. You know, what happened to Ad Hoc? What happened to Aim for Peace? I mean, those were supposed to be organizations that's supposed to be on the preventive side. They're not preventing anything, and we have not heard anything from them. But people don't want to defund them because it's their friends.
Well, same way. Where's combat? We pay.
Do we still have a combat?
We still pay into a $20 million slush fund. Every time.
So what? Who is Combat? Is that an organization?
It's
or what?
run by Jackson County.
What do you know where they at? They still trying to get their property taxes together.
And Combat sits in the office of the Jackson County prosecutor.
Okay, but what I'm saying for people that don't know, because I have not seen Combat either. I remember years ago I used to see signs for Combat. What is Combat? Is it one entity or is it several entities? Is what I'm asking.
Combat was supposed to be it's supposed to help with basically keep the drugs off the street. That's what basic Combat was.
They got the feds here now. They don't need Combat.
And people got issue with the feds being here. I'm like, if you even say the feds are here, you'll get about 30, 40 different negative comments about the feds being here. And I was talking about a murder the other day, and somebody was asking me, where the feds at? I'm like, the feds would basically tell you they're working on old cases. They're not here to work on these current cases.
No, Thurman. The feds were out there arresting people for illegal tags and all that other stuff. So they may not be here, but maybe they on lunch hour when they do some of this stuff because they're not here just working on old cases. You know what I'm saying? They've been here for 2 years. People think they just popped up because they made an announcement. We believe everything that we read or hear. And if it's on Facebook, we definitely pass around rumors. We will not pass around anything that is true or anything that has any bite into it. If it's foolish or if it's, mundane, we're gonna pass that on. And we don't have no qualms about it. We're gonna. What are the statements? We can't see the statement. My people are not writing because
You can't see that. Says, I'm trying to get my real teams going. Ask for people who want to help in the community and neighborhood. That was from Daryl Phillips.
Trying to get a real team going.
Trying to get my real teams going. Yes.
I don't understand what a real team is. Everything out there is supposed to be real. So with a fake team, real team, I don't understand what that is.
Maybe an organization of, people in the community get together or something.
I don't know. I mean, this is how I feel about that. Everybody wants to start their own organization. We can't get one wheel rolling without somebody coming up with the same idea to do it. Instead of joining forces, putting numbers together, every other week somebody's got a brilliant idea that I want to lead an organization and then get upset because nobody wants to join it. I don't know. I don't understand what he means about that. And I think that if he was really trying, he'd be out here. You know, I mean, that's the first person that sees him. What is he doing to make it happen? What's the next one?
Same person says, tell the truth. Most pastors aren't doing anything in the community.
Most pastors aren't doing anything in the community. You know, you see one to do a food drive, then you see the next one do a food drive. But I don't actually have seen any of those ministers stand up doing social events or holding anything at their churches. Really, I don't really know their churches, but St. James I know has a pantry and all of that stuff. But when we're talking about it, I'm gonna use St. James because I'm right in that proximity of St. James. We have 51st Street, 52nd Street. We have more murders around those areas. Brooklyn, where's St. James on? They're on
55th Line.
Wayne. All that whole area that we are infested with crime. I don't see them going out there doing anything. I don't see them hosting anything, saying, you know, let me go talk to these brothers or sisters that's out here. I don't see it. You know, so I see, let's go in numbers and act like we're doing something. But you know what's real is real. And when people say that, you know, they understand real, they live in it real. So these pastors have to get involved if they want to maintain even their church. Because Corona came and killed the belief in the church system. Because if you had faith, you would go in there knowing that you were covered. But because man told you not to, your faith in God dropped. You know, so now you're putting your faith in a government to save you. So I don't even think it's going to be organized religion in the next decade. I think that those are things of the past. You know, I don't think that we're going to go back to sitting in a church building, holding hands and giving up our life savings for ministry. I don't see it. I mean, maybe it's me, but pastors have made a complete mockery. And I'm not talking about just local pastors. The TV evangelists and all of them, they made a mockery out of religion. You know, and it's really hard to get involved in religion. I'm not talking about spirituality. I'm talking about religion. For those that just believe in religion. And that's all their works is about, is religion. It has nothing to do with the mind, body, and soul. Thurman, don't leave me hanging.
I'm like, you know, when I seen the press conference the other day, I'm like, okay, I'm sitting there looking at these pastors. I'm like, where the robes at? I'm like, you know, that's what we
know where the crown's at. You know what I'm saying? Where the crown's at, because to get on there and say that, hey, we're going to handle this and we're going to come out there. We had a murder while that was occurring, while they was talking. They didn't leave that platform to go address that. So what are they talking about? They don't address domestic violence. They don't address sexual abuse. They don't address finances unless it's coming to them. They don't address education. They don't address the racism unless they all get together kumbaya, but they don't address same sex. What or who are they going to work with?
No, I'm like,
I mean, who are they going to work with?
It basically goes back to what are they really concerned about? Because
don't get me started on that, because you got me in trouble on that one.
Yeah, what are they concerned about? Because basically nobody knows what this group is concerned about, where the angle is coming from. Because I'm like, you know, all you see is them getting in front of a camera.
And it made absolutely no sense. It made absolutely no sense. You got mothers that are crying and hollering out because they can't get information on their sons and daughters that's been murdered. You got babies that's been murdered. You have an FBI that's put together a major crime cult to say we're coming after you in St. Louis, Chicago, Kansas City, and they can't even find the child's murder that they named it after. What does that say? That should have been the first murder case that they solved. That was the simplest and the easiest one to solve, because I'm no Einstein, but I know that was not a random killing. It didn't just, somebody didn't walk down and shoot in that house. Somebody know something that was present in that home. It doesn't take Einstein to figure that out. But when they can't even solve the 4-year-old legend's murder and come back and say, we got this one, what is it saying? And why are we buying into it?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I know.
Thurman, you have to know. I mean, somebody has to know. I mean, it's not making any sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then we should evaluate what does make sense. When you have when you name an operation after a murdered 4-year-old child, but you go after other things, and that child's murder is not
It's not solved.
it's not solved.
Well, I'm like tomorrow, I'll be at an event tomorrow for 2 more murdered kids. The mother's having an event down at the park off 75th in Cleveland at 6:00. She's having a community event tomorrow for the community. Her son and nephew murder is unsolved. So, I'm like, and some of the mothers that will be down there with her, their children's murders are unsolved. So, I'm like,
it's just heartbreaking, and it's hard for me to even pretend that this is okay, because it's not okay. I know a lot of people say, Miss E, I be hard on the people, but I'm not hard on them, because most of them that come after me, I just retaliate back. But this is no joke. And when we take organizations and we say we're going to go look for people, and we bring all these people together and we do nothing but talk. All we do is meet and talk. We get nothing done. Right now, on the for real side, we have a chance to advance in so many areas. We know that school's not going to go back, and we complained about them teaching our children. But we haven't even set any platforms up for our children to go in September for us to teach them. We have all these scholars that's supposed to be scholars, all these people that sell real estate, all these people that financial backing, that know things, and we're not even setting up a class for our children to go. We have time now to teach them foreign languages. I mean, everything that we have, we can invest in our neighborhood, our children now, but we want to BS, and we want to play around and look for toilet paper and sanitary items instead of teaching our, I just look at opportunities. I look at opportunities that right now we know that we're not going to get the right food in there. I believe this is how they kill up a lot of us, by putting cancerous things in our food. We got plenty of land that we could be right now growing vegetables for the winter, but we play around too much, and that's what makes me mad, is because I've been fighting domestic violence for 20 years. It didn't just happen. 20 years. People act like I just woke up one night and I decided I wanted to fight domestic violence. 20 years I've been asking the community for help. I can count on my hands how many black men have assisted us in our endeavors. But I can also count on my hands, your hands, and maybe 1,000 other hands, how many black men have gave me the personnel to keep my facility going. So we talk about we care. And the other day, I'm going to give you a great example. We was carrying in cabinets into the building, right? We had about 3 or 4 men out there. One medical couldn't do it. One dress attire couldn't do it. But 3 other ones were. Do you know what they did? They turned their back. And I'm looking at them. I said, hey, can we get a man over here? We didn't get anybody to come over there and assist us, And that says a lot about our men in our community, where they see a woman struggle. I had one the other day, and this happened quite frequently, going through the door. He almost broke his neck trying to get through so he wouldn't hold the door for me, And I always say T-shirts or panties. T-shirts and panties, because we don't have drawers anymore. So everybody's wearing T-shirts and panties.
Well, I'm like, it goes back to a discussion I had with someone the other day. Whatever happened to, the men holding the door for a woman when they're coming out? whatever happened to the man, opening the car door when uh the woman's coming out of the car, different things like that,
It doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. One of the things I noticed, because I'm out during the day, too many women have their boyfriends at home while they working, whatever they doing. Is too many of our men that are sitting home where they should be out working or hustling, doing something. And so they don't have to open up a car door because that's her car.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to have a place because that's her place. They don't have to have anything because it belongs to her. I don't know, but
Well,
I
you
don't
even
know.
had men. I even seen men inside the car. The girl is out pumping the gas at the gas station.
I see that too.
The man is inside the car.
Only way I'm gonna be out pumping somebody's gas is he doesn't put the credit card up in there. I'm not. But see, I'm just old school. I'm old school. I don't need anything. If I didn't give birth to it, I'm not taking care of it. Especially somebody my age. I'm not taking care of no grown people. It's just not gonna happen. And I'm not excited about a man that can't hold his own weight. I'm not talking about things that just happen and person lose their job or they fall on hard times. I'm talking about a person that gets up with no desire to be more. They want to sit there and that's all they're doing. But it's somebody for everybody. I'm glad those somebodies are not for me. I'm just telling the truth. I couldn't put up with that. I couldn't tolerate that. But then again, I'm not that type of woman that's going around doing some of the things that these young girls are doing and putting themselves in that position to be used, misused, and all of those things. And you're like, well, your mama should be telling you these things, or something in your head. And I'm watching this by the programs that we're offering for the free arts program. And I'm talking about the science, the arts, the entertainment, all of this stuff that we offer to our children for free. The parents are too lazy to get up to come enroll them. I make it a deal that I have to meet you. You can't drop your child off because I'm not a babysitter. Those parents are too lazy to get their children involved in something that can help them go to another level. If I was not capable of teaching my child something, I made sure that my child got the best that I could give him at that time. And I made those sacrifices to go and participate in different things so my child could have an opportunity to advance somewhere in his life. Parents have to get up and care. And as a mother, especially a single mother raising a young boy, you're not going to raise him to be a man. That's not going to happen. He's going to find his way to be a man and to manhood. But right now we have a mentor group, and it doesn't get no better than the mentor group that I have, because I have several men that have been out there that know about it, whether from ex-pimps to dope dealers to people that's been incarcerated for many, many years, or people that's never been incarcerated and only wore a certain tie. These are the people that live in our community. This is what our mentor group is made up of. The mothers that's having a hard time, they're going to wait until that child is signed over to a jail cell to try to get help, to try to say, oh, he was a good boy. No. It starts way before he gets incarcerated. It starts way before you start looking for somebody to help you with your legal battles. I guess that's why I am kind of show no empathy, because when you offer the help and the help is up there, you have to make that sacrifice to come get it. I'm not going to walk to you and give it to you. I'm not going to jump over hurdles and barrels when it was offered to you. Now you're in a time of need and you're desperate, and you want us to be as desperate as you are. It's not going to happen. When something comes your way, you have to know when it's good for you or when it's not. You have to know when to take advantage of it and when to let it go. And that's where we stand, with our programs. We bring it all to you: drums, martial arts, boxing, everything that a child could have in their life, and even their parent. But the parent's too lazy to get up to try to fight for that child's life. So I have no empathy for that.
Well, let me go back and put these two together. You're talking about schools, and you're talking about babysitting. Let's put them both together, because that's what you got when The mayor made the announcement last weekend, that the community centers were going to open up, and they were going to put the kids in there for schools. You're going to open up Brush Creek Southeast Community Center, and you're going to have kids coming there.
But they can't go to school. What kind of bull is that? You can go to a community center. That's why I said people need to wake
because
up.
basically that's going to be a glorified babysitting service.
The kids are not going to. The children are not going to learn anything. But I think that's the responsibility of the parent, because I'm telling you, to be black in America is you already at risk. To be a male black in America, you need all the upbringing, all the village that you can have, because America doesn't want you. They're afraid of what they don't understand. And the black woman, for some reason, we have taken motherhood, and where it used to be a trophy to be a mother, now we are the most dangerous teacher of our youth. When we have the WAP, is that right? The WAP? Well, the Megan and Cardi B,
Yeah.
it's just the WAP, right?
Yeah.
When we have them on there, and we allow our daughters to think that we want to be a glorified prostitute, and we bring it to our young children and show them this. But that's not even prostitution, what they were doing. It comes off of prostitution. But all the sexually explicit stuff that we look up as women that's supposed to be the idols. You know what I'm saying? They idolize them. There's no way when you have millions of dollars that Cardi B should be putting herself in that position. She's a mother. She's a wife. That says a lot about her husband. To me it does, because a real man ain't gonna want to see that, his mother of his child doing all of that stuff. And I think that I think it was I'm trying to find the right words without being censored. But I think that that they should be whooped for that. And I think that a mother that allows that to come in their house, something's wrong with them. Same thing, I'm gonna say this again. I love drill teams. I love the way the drill teams interact. What I don't like is what I've been seeing lately is these drill team masters, leaders, how you having these young girls and the dance moves and stuff that they're making. And even one of the records that they played the other day that they was dancing off of was sexually explicit. I would not have my daughter in anything like that. We're talking about young girls. And if that's what you call, and that's how you teach mothers, something's wrong with you, because there's no way a little 7 or 8-year-old girl should be grinding off the, what was the name of that record they was playing?
I don't know.
But some record was sexual record. But it's no way that they should be grinding off of that and what they have on. I heard guys say, man, I can't look at that. Grown men said, I can't look at that. But what's wrong? What's up with the mothers? Pitiful, just pitiful.
Well,
right.
yeah.
Mr. Phillips is back. He says real teams about stopping the violence, working with the homeless, domestic violence, kid support groups, jobs. It says, Thurman, you know what I'm about. We talk every day.
Well, Thurman may know what he's about, but I don't know what he's about. And if he got all those things are already in place. So why isn't he a team player? And tell him he's free to call in. The number's 816-599-6893. So if Mr. Phillips wants to call in and let us know what he's about, then he can do that. But all the things he's talking about is all the things that we've been talking about, and it seems like he should be a team player. And if he wants to just sit around till his thing gets off the ground, it's never going to happen. That's what, like I said, that's what's wrong with our community. We want to wait and think that we invented something. We didn't invent domestic violence. We didn't invent the homeless. We didn't invent drug dealers or prostitution. We didn't invent none of those things. So why do we think that we're the only ones that can solve all of that? I don't think so. In my family, I've had all of those things. And so I don't know what he's talking about. But I think you do, Thurman.
I'm like,
I'm gonna pass it to Thurman.
I'm like, Mr. Phillips has a program called Real Team. He wants to get out here and get a group of people together to combat the violence, basically mentoring and stuff like that. But I also know that there's other organizations that have the same components.
So you said he wants to start this. He's not actually doing it right now.
He's trying to get people to be part.
See, that's the problem. It's already a ton of organizations doing this.
Yeah.
But we want to wait until we get somebody to follow us. That's not going to happen. A real person of the community doesn't wait. It only takes one person to change a whole nation. You don't need 20 or 30 people following you to do it. I minister to domestic violence victims one at a time. I don't need 25 people to tell me this woman needs my help. I don't need 25 people to tell me this person needs clothing or housing or food. I don't need it, and I'm daggone sure I ain't gonna wait till you decide you want to come walk with me to make this happen. So real people that have a real mission, I don't care about leaders because we all should be a leader in some fashion. But real need and real people that have it in their heart and their servants don't have to wait to be told what to do. And I don't have a problem joining anybody else that's doing it. But people have a problem joining us that are doing it. Because why? Accountability is the number one thing that we're known for. You can talk all the smack you want and run your mouth, do all of that. But it's never going to be no organization out here that's going to beat us on the ground getting to the people. Because we are out there 24/7. It's not that we just sit back here and just wait for it to happen. It doesn't happen. You know, we are out there with the people. We live among the people. So you know the people's needs. We push for empowerment. We don't need to put people's faces on to say, Miss E is a leader, Thurman is a leader. We're all leaders. And once we learn to drop them titles, we'll learn to move. Because right now, we're sitting up there waiting for stimulus checks and unemployment to come in rather than to go out there selling pop cans and whatever we have to do to feed our family. You know, whatever it takes for me to feed my family, I'm going to make it happen. I'm not going to wait for a check to come through the mail. That's not going to happen. Brandon to tell you, we sold corn on the corners. You know, we sold pop cans. You know, we did everything that we had to do, cut grass, whatever we had to do to make sure we ate. That was my responsibility as a mother to make sure that I provided for my child. And if you're not providing for your own child, you darn sure ain't gonna provide for nobody else's. And that's what's happening with these community things. They think, hey, I become a community leader because the white man said I could be a leader, and I'm gonna apply for a grant that ain't gonna never come through, so I'm not gonna push my program, you know, because I didn't get any grant money, so I can't go help Thurman's people over there. That's not gonna happen. People, every time I look up in October, everybody's fighting domestic violence because they think they're gonna get a paycheck. When they find out they're not going to get a paycheck, nobody's serving domestic violence in November. Nobody's serving them in October. Well, October, yeah. September, August, June, July, May, April, whatever. Nobody's serving these people. So when they bring me that kind of stuff, you know what I'm about. No, I don't know what you're about, and I shouldn't know what you're about. The community should know what you're about. So I guess he didn't call in because he had that opportunity. But it's easier to put on Facebook rather than to confront it and have the truth out there. You know, one of the things I want to talk about before we go, you know, Girl is doing a domestic violence memorial garden that was destroyed by Oak Park Association. And we're still waiting for the apology to come through there. But right now we have like 200 rose bushes that's been dedicated for the victims and survivors of domestic violence. We had 3833 Chestnut. We need help over there cleaning up the yard, you know, getting ready for our South Grand opening, which will be August the 30th, where we're going to bring to the community and show them what you can do without funding, without begging somebody to help you move it, and you're going to sit until it just be stale. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ask all the time, but we're not waiting for anybody to support us because we know why. We got women and children that need us. So we can't wait to feed them or tell them, hey, you've been injured, let's put it on hold and let's see what we can do. So I implore any organization that wants to join us to, you know, to hit me up at infogirl, that's INFO at GYRL.com, you know, gmail.com, you know, and get involved. I mean, the vending is free for that day. You know, we're not charging people for vending, but we are asking people to come out, have a good time. We're going to do the bounce houses, the horses, the different races and stuff, and the dominoes and spades. I mean, we're just going to have an old-fashioned community event surrounded by a major awareness of domestic violence and abuse.
And I know we also have the event the week before.
Oh, yeah, that's the 23rd?
Yes.
Yeah, that's with Councilman Ellington down at Concord Park.
Yeah.
The One Love series.
Yeah.
Those series have been very, very nice. They have been very, very nice, very entertaining. The community has come out, all ages, and enjoyed it. And what time is that going to be? 10 a.m.?
From 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's on a Sunday, August the 23rd, which is my mom's birthday. And it's going to be. I think the last one is going to be the best one. I think because they have all kind of
We didn't have basically food vendors. We didn't have drill teams. The Mind Your Business Ben's Club has shown up.
Yeah, I mean all the. Is that the? Okay, that's the. Okay, Benz. That's the motorcycle. Yeah, I mean not the motorcycle, but the Benz cars and stuff. Yeah, they have been a great supporter. And a lot of organizations have been out there to support them. Support. Girl has been a major supporter of Councilman Ellington. By choice this time. Sometimes we don't have a choice, but we have a choice because he's doing great things in the community. And also, he meets on Mondays with No More Excuses Coalition, and they get out into the community. But you don't hear about this through the media about what they're doing, and they're walking the neighborhoods and talking to the neighborhood, and they're looking for people to get involved. And if you want to get involved in that, the email address is
Brandon.Ellington at kcmo.org.
Yeah, and so that's a great one to start with because you write hands on it. Okay, before I go, I want to. This is kind of messy, but we got to be a little bit messy before we go. 18th and Vine, what happened down there? And I'm not talking about the partying. I'm talking about when they was trying to get that CID in there. What happened? Thurman, don't shake your head. What happened?
Too many. You got too many bosses and no Indians. Too many chiefs and no Indians.
So are they going to get it in there now or what?
No. No.
That's a bad thing about when we talk about, we don't know politics. We think we know, and we want to be quick to run our mouth and talk about stuff, and then we end up getting ourselves aced out of deals. Because that would have been a beautiful thing to have as a red district down there. If we gave everybody a chance to do what I do when I go to Brookside and purchase stuff, that money rolls into their own little account, because they have the extra taxes added over there. And bless you. And that's what would happen with 18th and Vine. But 18th and Vine now seems like a party set at night. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but their crowd has intensified a lot in the last couple of weeks, which is probably good.
It has become basically party central without no mask on. You got organizers who basically sit around and talk about they're not accepting the blame that's now taken because these pictures of these parties have become basically worldwide. They have been shown on CNN. People not wearing masks in these large groups.
But you ain't heard about
especially
nobody.
when you have become when the White House have put the state of Missouri back on their hot spot because they see these parties without no mask.
No. Sorry, why the White House has put us back on a spot is we have potential to elect the next president. You have to understand a lot of this stuff is political. That mask ain't going to save you, but your vote will. Your vote will save you. So if we get everybody scared enough, then they're going to come out and vote. You know what I'm saying? So we have to vote like our lives depend on it because our life depends on it. We have to stop looking at mainstream media and saying they're telling us what's good for us. Because one thing and two things for certain, ain't no black life ever mattered to anybody that wasn't black. No more. I mean, I shouldn't say that. My black life matters more to me than it ever would somebody that's not black. We have to learn to love ourselves. We have to matter. and we're not making the money off of Black Lives Matter. The people that are making the money off of Black Lives Matter ain't even black. And that's what people don't understand. Riding in the streets and the schools are closed, come on now. They used to call that hopscotch. So now we're riding in the street and the streets are closed. I mean, close to us, because where they're at is we don't have no business there. We don't have anything in this game but our vote. And this is what they're stopping us from. And if we don't believe our vote counts, just sit back and watch 4 more years of it. And if you think that $400 that they're going to send you down from the government for your unemployment is going to collapse your state. Your state is what's going to be responsible for that unemployment. And if nobody's working in the state of Missouri, baby, that's going to be horrible, because there's no money to come down. And before we go, we want to say that we meet on Fridays for those that want to help in the program for the Arts with Girl. At you have to email me at infogirl, that's infogyrl.com. We meet on Fridays to set up the programs. If you have a program, you can email me and we can meet later. Our program starts for the youth Saturday at 10 a.m. The major kickoff will be after our soft opening August the 30th. So September we will open up full way for the children. Right now we're shipping children in with donations that have been made for their $10 registration fee. So, it's up to you. If you want your child to be involved in something, don't wait until we don't have any room for it, because we are working out a limited space, but we have major plans and major programs for our children, and it's up to you to want to do better. And then also Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we on 38th and Chestnut. We're mowing, cutting, planting, and painting. If you can do any of those things, stop on by. We'd love to have you. 38th and Chestnut, you don't need a full address because you'll see us in the street. Until then, we want to say peace. Watch out and don't believe everything that you read, none of what you hear, and just do your part to try to make this world a better place. You want to say something?
That's it.
Outrage.